the world. I die for these guys, for real. It's so fun. I got my joy back, as some would say. But more than anything, it's always good to win. Let me go, man. Go back there. What are you going to do? Nothing on national TV.
We've been here for many years and still feeling like we have a chance, but not quite there and need a little boost. And our ownership group made a 2-year, $120 million commitment for us to get that boost. And what he's meant since he's been here. Like, tonight was great. He played through the injury. It was beautiful. But it's just his presence. What his presence does for this team is humongous.
Before I come to you, Stephen A., with the debate question, would you ever believe, if you didn't know anything about basketball, just seeing that he's only been with this team for 2 months? Just the chemistry and how he's already galvanized and just fit in so seamlessly.
You're absolutely right in terms of if you didn't know basketball. But if you know basketball, you know that this ain't a surprise, because where Jimmy goes, success follows. Might not be a championship, but he's going to push you there. He pushed Chicago. He pushed Minnesota. Obviously, he did it with Miami, and now he's doing it with Golden State.
Okay, to that point, he's trying to push him again this year, right? They know the window's closing. Of course, Dre and Steph just getting older, and I think 2 more years on the contract. Who's more important for a Golden State title run? Is it Dre and that defense, or playoff Jimmy?
I'm still going to say Draymond. And the reason I'm going to say Draymond is because without him, where's your defense? What kind of defense do you actually have? We all know the value of Jimmy Buckets. He is who he is. But in the same breath, we also know that whatever he's not doing can be offset by a Steph Curry explosion. What can't be offset is when you have no defense whatsoever. When you know that you can attack. They're undersized. Everybody knows it. You know that. But going up against Draymond Green, obviously that's going to have a profound impact in terms of how effective he is. When he is effective, he makes game-changing plays on the defensive side of the ball, which gives you more bites at the apple offensively, and that's why I say him.
I agree with that, S.A. However, I think you take a hit on both sides of the ball tremendously, and not that Draymond Green as a point forward and facilitator is not an important piece of their offense as well. But if you lose Jimmy Butler, you're taking a hit on both sides of the basketball, and you lose your second offensive engine, if you will. And frankly, prior to this trade, this team was spinning its wheels. They were doing nothing. Like, Jimmy Butler has literally opened up this window and this opportunity for them to contend for a title. So for me, it's Jimmy.
Yeah, I agree with what both you guys are saying. You guys are both right, but for me, it's Jimmy Butler. I think that what Draymond brings to the table, like you think about yesterday, just outstanding one-on-one defense against Sengun, only gave up 6 points against him one-on-one. But Jimmy's 27 points, his aura, they believe in him. You see the interview right there. They're galvanized around him already. He brings a different vibe into that locker room. Defensively, where's Jalen Green been? He's been shut down. Offensively, he gives you 27 to 30 points, and he's not even 100% healthy right now. He's still doing that against a really good defensive Houston team.
Right. Well, I'm going to say this. I'm glad you brought up Jalen Green. Yeah, the camera's right there. Do you not recognize that you're an NBA player? Do you not recognize that you're supposed to be the face of the Houston Rockets franchise? 7 points in one game, 9 points in another. I'm looking at him last night, 8 points in this game. The one game where he had 38 points is when Jimmy Butler went down early and got hurt. My God. When we talk about, you will not hear any trade rumor more than you will hear the Phoenix Suns talking about Kevin Durant going to Houston so they can reclaim a couple of those first-round picks that Houston possesses of Phoenix. Because what is Houston lacking? Houston is lacking, Fred VanVleet, God bless him, he balled out, all right, very little help. But when you look at what Houston has done, my goodness, you're shooting a postseason worth 63% from the free throw line. You did it during the regular season. Then you come into the postseason. It's bad enough you can't make jump shots. Can't make free throws either. And this is Jalen Green, athletic, talented, young. We understand that. But I'm talking about a disappearing act. There's an APB in Houston out for this brother right now. They got everybody looking for him. Where the hell have you been? Fred VanVleet is a champion, okay? But he's about Molly's height. And I'm just looking at him.
Fred like that.
I'm just saying.
Don't do Fred like that.
I'm just saying like that.
I'm 5'7".
Exactly, which is good for a woman. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that this brother is special. Fred VanVleet can ball. Major props to him. Where's the help? Where do you go just leave him out there like that? And Şengün, that's why you had to call his number, him or Van Vliet. You're supposed to be relying on Jalen Green. He's going to get himself traded out of Houston.
Booze,
I'm telling you.
Booze, to that you say what? Is that fair? He's going to get himself traded? He's not stepping up to the occasion?
Like, I know that it's also his first playoff run, too, and I got to give him a little bit of grace because I had one of my first playoff runs, too, and I struggled in a couple games as well. But he's got to be midway. He can't be so great to have 38 and then get single digits in 3 out of the 4 games. He's got to be somewhere in the middle.
I'm not saying something like this if it was 15, 18 points, y'all, or whatever. 7,
but
9,
you're saying
8.
when you're saying the lights are the brightest, his play has diminished significantly.
I'm saying they walked into this series knowing those rumors were going to be coming. Because everybody is saying Houston's a piece away. And everybody was talking about how, okay, well, they want them picks, they want them assets back because you can't trade Bradley Beal because he's got the no trade clause, right? And he don't want to leave even though they want him to leave. But you got a situation where Kevin Durant is the piece. That's right, I'm telling you.
Kevin, we get it. Kevin Durant is looming. Yeah,
he's
we get
looming,
it. Kevin
and
Durant's
you know that
Monica.
coming into the series, and this is what you're doing. I want to be positive, okay? The point that I'm trying to make is, listen, here's the deal.
You're not doing very well at it.
I'm not doing a good job of it. We're not talking, listen, in fairness, we're not talking about Jalen Green right now if he's some scrub.
Exactly.
Right. We're talking about him because we know what you can do.
Exactly.
But you're going to pick 3 or 4 games against the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry and Jimmy Buckets to play like that. He got benched for the last 5 minutes?
No. I know. Well, let me
that.
ask you this, Stephen A. How much do you think chippiness has been a factor in the series between these two
I think
teams?
it's been a huge factor, and I think that it's something that has worked against Houston, which was my concern.
And we disagree on this.
Well, let me tell you why. I have no problem with them being physical. I have no problem with them living on it. I had a problem with them talking about it because when it really gets tight, who's going to get a call? Is it going to be Steph? Is it going to be Buckets? Is it going to be Draymond? Or is it going to be a Jalen Green or a Şengün or a Dylan Brooks or somebody? They're not going to get those favors. That's my only point, Eminem. My only point about that.
And I understand that, but it's kind of like if you're one of those folks that give yourself affirmations in the mirror every morning.
Right.
You got to say who you are, and
Right.
you got to stand on it no matter what. This is my routine. This is true to me. Now, the only chippiness I feel like has backfired was probably that exchange between Brooks and Butler on the free throw line because Jimmy called it out post-game.
But what about when Draymond died for the ball?
I'm not worried about none of that.
Like that. I'm saying, but maybe, just maybe, that might have been something that had worked against Draymond at that particular moment. They didn't call it. Why? Because you're like, here, this is what we do. I'm just saying.
But I'd argue that chippiness has also helped Golden State, Stephen A.
No, I'm saying it has.
Yeah.
I think that it's part of their gamesmanship. I think that they know that they can get in their heads and that Houston's going to feed into it, and they are feeding into it. They're thinking more about
who?
Houston is.
Houston.
Got it.
I think it's favoring Golden State because they've been there before. Draymond Green's done this
That's all I'm
before.
saying.
He does this every series.
You know, this series was humbling. These last 2 games were embarrassing. Cleveland's also a very good team. They won 65. We're as irrational as we usually are, thinking that we have a chance to win this series, and they showed us why, you know, we weren't ready.
I don't know. It's going to be a lot of changes this summer. Just from my point of view, understanding how, you know, the guy with the silver hair works. So just be prepared for that.
Let's just give that a moment because that was just a lot, and I wonder what Jimmy Butler's thinking right now. Stephen A.
Yeah.
You just heard Bam. There's going to be a lot of changes this summer. You heard Coach Bo. This was embarrassing. Where do Riley and the Heat go from here?
The change has to start with Pat Riley. It's time. It's time. You have never heard anyone say that about the great Pat Riley, who I revere. I know this man. I got a lot of love for this man. I appreciate what he has done for the game of basketball. I don't have any doubt that he knows what he's doing when it comes to basketball in terms of what the team needs, the coach it has, etc. The reason I'm bringing up that there has to be a change in Miami is because you have to get people to want to come to Miami. And he's not that guy anymore. Not that guy. He knows what he's doing. He's not gone. But he can't get the right people to Miami. I think what I'm trying to say is that Eric Spoelstra needs to be the president of basketball operations for the Miami Heat. Udonis Haslem needs to be upstairs in the front office of the Miami Heat. I think those kind of components, the Andy Ellsberg of the world and others, of course, don't touch. I mean, they got to be the first-class organization. Nothing but love. But Pat Riley has done it all. There's nothing else to do. And now, remember, you were supposed to get Dame. You couldn't pull it off. You couldn't get Kevin Durant there. You don't hear about people clamoring to come to South Beach.
Okay, that's what I need to pause on, Stephen A.
South Beach.
Stephen A. Smith. I don't want to gloss over everything you just said about Pat Riley because that is significant. But the fact that you are saying on national television, I know I'm biased, but it is challenging to get NBA players to want to come to Miami.
Yes.
Like, that's bad.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I'm not lying. Neither one of y'all would say I'm lying about what I just said.
I do want to separate the location a bit from where the team currently is. When we've watched Miami attract players, maybe except when they got Jimmy Butler, because I can't remember who was there when he initially came. There was an infrastructure.
Yeah.
When we talk about guys that want to move in free agency or get out of their contracts, just like Jimmy forced his way to Golden State, they want to go somewhere that is a piece or two away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like Milwaukee, then duplicate Milwaukee, but make it in Miami. And so I think I don't know if it's all Pat Riley, but for so long, they have extended the window under him and been good enough and had a special talent like Jimmy Butler. And so now you look at it, this was a play-in team and they got swept.
I got more. But go ahead, Carlos. I got more, because I got more to tell you.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with what you said, Stephen. I honestly, first of all, a lot of love for Pat Riley.
A lot of love.
A godfather for this game.
Without
helped out so many people. Had incredible. What'd you say on the other show?
CVS receipt.
He has a resume longer than a CVS receipt. It's unbelievable what he's done for the game of basketball. But, Nick Arison can move up. Spoelstra can move up. You want to have a guy in place where it does attract free agents to come play for your organization today. And that's what they need. You heard what Bam said. There's going to be some changes coming. Maybe they've already talked about it in the front office. I don't know. I'm not privy to that. But
they have.
I do think that for that team, they need a revamp. Those guys are great players. They need a phenomenal player to be the guy. Like we're talking about Houston. Look what they accomplished without having the guy.
Yeah, they need the star, the face of the
Miami
franchise.
Heat need a star.
Yeah.
But right now, if you're a star, why would you go to that roster?
You wouldn't.
Exactly.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
But let's backtrack.
All right, come on, backtrack.
Get LeBron James there. That was D. Wade. Let's make sure we understand.
100%.
That was D. Wade. You have an opportunity to take care of D. Wade. You let him walk out for a few dollars to leave for Chicago. There's certain times that you spend the money just because of who the person is, what they've meant to the franchise, and more importantly, how it reflects upon dudes that you want coming down the pike, successors to what you've had. That was not what happened. When Jimmy Butler arrived, D. Wade provided a great assist in that regard because Jimmy Butler and D. Wade pretty tight, and they talked about, obviously, Jimmy Butler, reached out, and talked with D. Wade and vice versa. So you got that going on. Again, no KD, no Damian Lillard, none of that stuff is happening. And so at some point in time, listen, Eric Spoelstra is going to be Team USA coach if he wants to be for 2028. He is revered. He is a future Hall of Fame coach. He is a two-time champion. There's nothing to question about Eric Spoelstra as a coach. They were down by 40 at the half in a closeout game. They had just lost game 3 by 30, 34, 37, whatever it was. And they got annihilated in the first half. They showed no fight. They quit. TNT, my boys, Chuck, Kenny, Shaq, what do? First, Kenny refuses to run to the board. Then he turns around, and then the three of them slow-mos imitating how the Miami Heat were playing and said, damn, they quit. Why do we have to? Why should we run? What I'm saying to you is this. You don't say things like that about a Pat Riley team for decades.
Okay.
It has changed. The coach has changed. It's not his fault. Father Time catches us up to us all. He knows what he's doing. It's just that he can't get it done because he's not going to be able to attract any players to want to come there.
Here's my question to you.
Nobody wants to hear about Heat culture anymore, which is synonymous with him. With Spoelstra, everything, sometimes you need to change. Remember when the Miami Dolphins let go of Don Shula?
Yep.
And we were sitting there, and we were sitting there like this. I love Don Shula, right? But damn, you were there for 30 plus years. When Jimmy Johnson came in and they let go of Tom Landry, it's not about throwing shade on somebody. It's about saying you had your time. It has been there a long time.
Okay.
Miami is not relevant anymore.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them going, try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. The city ain't over here,